Governor Ron DeSantis says he wants to protect Floridians from having to choose between their jobs and the COVID vaccine. Surrounded by GOP leaders of the state, House, and Senate, the governor detailed a package of proposals dubbed the Keeping Florida Free agenda, which includes vaccine exemptions and school mask lawsuits.
We've seen the federal government, even though the Biden administration had always said this will never be mandated, and even they acknowledged the federal government doesn't have the power to mandate it. Fauci said it would never be mandated, and now all of a sudden they say there's grave danger, so it takes them 2 months to write a 500-page rule that they're trying to shove down the throats of the American people. That's wrong. Okay, it's wrong to treat people like that. It's wrong to kick people out of work. It's wrong to try to micromanage businesses like that. And it's wrong to potentially deprive key industries of people that we need.
The governor's announcement comes on the heels of the Biden administration saying it's prepared to defend its new COVID vaccine rules.
CBS 4's Skyler Henry joins us live from Capitol Hill. And Skyler, what can Governor DeSantis really do against the Biden administration?
Well, at this point, Elliot and Lauren, I'd say get in line. And the governor would be joining several other governors from several Republican-led states across the country who are looking to do the same thing, challenge the Biden administration's new vaccine requirement in court. In fact, a Louisiana court just decided to at least temporarily halt these vaccine requirements. And so we'll see how that all shakes out. But as you mentioned, Lauren, the Biden administration feels as though these new vaccine requirements and rules will withstand any sort of legal challenges.
First Lady Jill Biden visited a COVID-19 vaccination clinic at an elementary school in Virginia, part of an effort to encourage parents to make sure their 5 to 11-year-olds get their shots.
This is the best way to protect your children against COVID-19.
One of the strictest vaccine mandates in the nation went into effect Monday in the city of Los Angeles. Businesses, including gyms and restaurants, must require proof of COVID vaccination from patrons or else face fines of up to $5,000.
This is impossible that owner of a restaurant going to tell a customer that he is not welcome to his restaurant.
President Biden's vaccine regulations for workers that's supposed to go into effect in January is facing new legal challenges. A federal appeals court in Louisiana temporarily halted the requirement that companies with 100 or more employees ensure they're vaccinated or test for COVID weekly.
In addition to that requirement, about 4 million federal workers face a November 22nd deadline to get vaccinated. The administration says it's confident the rules will withstand court challenges.
The president and the administration wouldn't have put these requirements in place if they didn't think that they were appropriate and necessary, and the administration is certainly prepared to defend them.
And happy reunions are taking place at airports all over the nation after the U.S. started easing COVID restrictions on international travelers.
I'm on cloud 9.
International travelers still have to show proof of vaccination and a negative COVID test.
Skyler, what we heard today from Governor DeSantis could be political posturing, and he might make a presidential run in 2024. We don't know that for a fact, but what's the word in Washington on that?
Well, it certainly makes this all very interesting, right, Elliot? We know that the governor announces plans to run for re-election for next year, right? And so many people, many experts in this field certainly think that he is laying the groundwork, if you will, to potentially set something up in 2024. Of course, the governor joins several other people vying for that potential job, potentially here. And we also don't really know what the former president, Donald Trump, what he plans on doing in 2024. And it'd be hard to imagine someone who has a close relationship with the former president trying to take his job if he were to run again. But it certainly shakes up for a very interesting 2022 and, of course, what we may see in 2024.
Sure does, and we will be watching it all. Skyler Henry live for us on Capitol Hill. Thank you.
We may have 2 Florida residents interested in that job. Okay, thank you, Skyler.